All right, strap yourselves in, everyone, because we are diving headfirst into the Superman trailer.
Yeah, the one that's got everyone talking.
Exactly. And for good reason. James Gunn, the mastermind behind Guardians of the Galaxy,
Oh, yeah. He knows how to handle those larger-than-life
he
characters.
does. And now he's taking on Superman.
It's not just a reboot, though, is it?
No, it feels like a whole new take on the Man of Steel. A total reimagining.
And from what we've seen, it looks like he's not shying away from taking risks.
Definitely not. And that's what's got everyone so excited and curious.
So let's break it down. What are the big takeaways from this trailer? What's got everyone buzzing?
Well, right off the bat, Gunn throws us into this incredible opening scene.
Okay, set the scene for us.
Imagine this Superman crash-landed in this vast, desolate, icy tundra.
Wow, that's a strong image right from the start.
It is. It's like classic Superman imagery, the Kryptonian ship, the wreckage. But there's this unexpected twist, this almost alien, unsettling vibe.
So it's familiar but different. It's like he's playing with our expectations already.
Exactly. And I think that's what's so brilliant about this. It's Superman, but with this fresh, almost raw energy.
I see that, and I think it's more than just a cool visual, right? It makes you think.
Oh, absolutely. Like, why start with such bleakness? It's not the bright, hopeful Superman we're used to, at least not initially.
It hints at the approach Gunn might be taking. I think he's focusing on both Superman's immense power, but also...
The very human struggles he faces.
Exactly. It's like he's saying, look, this is Superman, but he's not invincible. He's got his own battles to fight.
Okay, so we're talking about a more human Man of Steel.
Yeah. Humanizing Superman, showing his vulnerability alongside his strength. I mean, that icy tundra could symbolize isolation.
Right, like his struggle to find belonging.
Precisely. He's this incredibly powerful being, but he's still searching for acceptance. The trailer even gives us a glimpse of that.
When he says, they told me this world wasn't ready for me.
Powerful stuff. It's a universal theme, isn't it? That yearning for connection.
It is, and that's what makes it so relatable. I mean, who hasn't felt like an outsider at some point?
Right. And Gunn, he's a master at tapping into those universal emotions.
He is. And it's clear that he wants to make Superman relatable for a modern audience. Someone who faces doubts and challenges, just like everyone else.
Someone we can connect with on a deeper level.
Exactly. And I think that's what's going to make this Superman so compelling. He's not just a symbol, he's a person. A person with extraordinary abilities, sure, but still a person.
And I think that ties into Gunn's vision for Superman. He's stated that he wants to evoke the spirit of Christopher Reeve's portrayal.
Yeah, but while still updating the character for today's world.
Think about Reeve's Superman. He had that warmth, that humanity that shone through.
Absolutely. He was powerful, but he was also compassionate and kind.
And I think that's the essence Gunn is aiming to capture. But he's also adding new layers of complexity.
So it's not just a nostalgia trip. It's a reimagining that honors the past while pushing the character forward.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance between the classic and the contemporary. And speaking of contemporary, we have to talk about the suit.
Oh yeah, the suit. It's definitely a major talking point.
What did you think when you first saw it?
Well, the classic colors are all there. The red, blue, yellow. It screams Superman.
You can't miss it. But there's a subtle shift, isn't there?
Definitely. The texture. It's less polished, more tactile, almost like it's been through some things.
Yes. I noticed that too. It's like he's been in the trenches, It's a Superman who gets his hands dirty.
And I think that's intentional. It's a visual cue to make him feel less like an untouchable god.
And more grounded, more human.
Right. It reinforces that human connection that Gunn seems to be emphasizing.
It's a subtle but brilliant detail. And it makes you wonder, what kind of world will this more grounded Superman inhabit? What challenges will he face?
Well, speaking of the world, let's shift gears and talk about Metropolis.
Ah, the city of tomorrow.
From the glimpses we get in the trailer, it's this bustling, modern metropolis practically exploding with energy.
But Metropolis is more than just a backdrop, isn't it?
No, it's a reflection of Superman himself.
Yeah.
It's a symbol of progress, of humanity's potential.
Exactly. It's the world that Superman is fighting to protect. And at the heart of it all is the Daily Planet.
Oh, the Daily Planet. More than just Clark Kent's workplace.
What is it then?
It's an institution, a symbol of truth and integrity. It's where Clark hones his values.
And where we see him interact with Lois Lane.
Ah, Lois Lane. Not just a love interest in this version.
No, she's a force to be reckoned with, sharp, intelligent, a journalist who's not afraid to dig for the truth.
Exactly. And we see hints of Perry White, the gruff but lovable editor-in-chief.
And Jimmy Olsen, the eager young photographer.
It's like they're bringing that classic Daily Planet dynamic to life.
That camaraderie, that sense of purpose, it grounds Superman, reminds us that even a superhero needs people he can rely on.
Needs a community, and that's such an important element, especially when you're dealing with a character as powerful as Superman. It's about finding those human connections that make him relatable.
It humanizes him, makes him more than just a symbol.
Okay, so we've got a more human Superman, a grounded metropolis, but what about the conflicts he'll face? Because let's be real, a superhero story needs some good villains.
Oh, the trailer definitely delivers on that front.
And I think one of the most intriguing aspects is how Gunn is portraying Lex Luthor.
Ah, Lex Luthor, Superman's arch nemesis. What's different this time around?
We see him, but it's not your typical evil mastermind cackling in a lair.
So, not the stereotypical villain.
Not at all. He's calm, calculating, almost chilling in his demeanor.
Interesting. It makes you wonder what's going on in his head.
Exactly. It's like he's playing a long game, orchestrating everything from the shadows.
You know, when I think about Gunn's previous work, especially with the Guardians films, he's always been great at subverting expectations.
Yes, and exploring the complexities of his characters. Even the villains have layers.
Right. So with Lex, it's not just about good versus evil. There's a deeper conflict brewing here.
A clash of ideologies, maybe?
Possibly. Superman represents hope, altruism, this unwavering belief in humanity's good nature. But Luthor,
He might represent a more cynical worldview.
maybe even a fear of unchecked power, a fear of Superman himself.
So he's not necessarily evil, just.
Misguided, thinking he knows what's best for humanity, even if his methods are questionable.
That's what makes it so interesting. It's not black and white. It's this gray area where the lines get blurred.
And that makes for a much more compelling story. Because let's face it, real life is rarely black and white.
And Gunn is a master at bringing those complexities to the screen.
He is. And then, of course, we have Brainiac.
Oh yeah, we can't forget about Brainiac.
Talk about a classic Superman villain, a powerful alien antagonist with advanced technology.
And seemingly ruthless motives. We only get glimpses of him in the trailer, but it's clear he's a force to be reckoned with.
What do you think his presence adds to the story?
I think it introduces this element of cosmic threat, pushing Superman to his absolute limits.
Beyond just a physical threat, right? Brainiac is known for his intelligence, his strategic thinking. It's like he's playing a game of chess on a galactic scale.
And Superman is caught in the middle, having to make choices that could have consequences for the entire world, maybe even the universe.
So we have Superman, who is both incredibly powerful and incredibly human, facing threats from both within and beyond our world.
And struggling with his own identity, his place in the grand scheme of things.
It's a lot to process.
It is, but it sets the stage for an epic story. And I think that's what has fans so excited. This is Superman, like we've never seen him before.
Grounded, relatable, facing challenges that feel both personal and universal.
Exactly. It's a Superman for our times.
And I can't wait to see how it all unfolds.
Me too. This trailer has definitely left me wanting more.
Okay, so we've talked about the big picture stuff. Now let's zoom in on some of those key moments in the trailer. You know, the ones that really stood out.
Oh yeah, there were quite a few.
There were. Where do we even begin?
Well, how about that opening shot? The one with Superman emerging from the Kryptonian ship wreckage, with that icy tundra backdrop.
Oh, that was visually stunning. The way it was framed, the lighting, it was just epic.
It totally gave me Man of Steel vibes, but with a distinct James Gunn flavor.
Exactly. It's like he's taking that classic Superman imagery and putting his own unique spin on it.
Right. And it sets the tone for the whole trailer. This is Superman, but you've never seen him quite like this.
And then we get that close-up on David Corenswet as Clark. The way he looks out at that vast, icy landscape, you can almost read his thoughts.
I know, there's a mix of awe and determination there, but also a touch of fear, maybe.
Yeah.
Or uncertainty.
Absolutely. He's not this all-knowing, all-powerful Superman right from the start. He's searching, questioning, trying to find his place in a world that's both familiar and alien to him.
Like he doesn't quite belong.
Yeah. It reminds me of that line from the trailer when he says, "They told me this world wasn't ready for me."
Oh, that line gave me chills. It's so powerful. He's not just a powerful alien. He's an outsider grappling with his identity.
It's a theme that I think a lot of people can relate to, feeling like you don't fit in.
Exactly. And then we see those scenes at the Daily Planet, which have a completely different vibe.
Much more grounded.
Way more. He's interacting with Lois, Perry, Jimmy. It's so normal.
Like he's just one of the
I
guys.
know. He's fumbling with coffee, cracking jokes, trying to blend in. But we know there's this extraordinary secret simmering beneath the surface.
That duality is what makes Superman so fascinating. He's this incredibly powerful being, but he also wants to live a normal life.
It's that classic Clark Kent Superman struggle.
And Gunn does a great job of capturing that. He makes you believe that this guy could walk among us, that he could be your coworker or your neighbor.
And I think that's what makes him relatable. We
Mhm.
see those everyday moments, those human interactions, and it grounds him.
Makes him more than just a symbol. And speaking of the Daily Planet, you mentioned earlier that it's a symbol of truth and integrity.
I did.
Yeah.
Why do you think that setting is so important for Superman's story?
Well, I think the Daily Planet represents a moral compass for Clark. It's where he hones his sense of justice, working alongside people who are dedicated to uncovering the truth.
Like Lois Lane.
Exactly. She's not just a love interest in this version. She's sharp, independent, a journalist who's not afraid to challenge authority.
And she definitely challenges Clark.
She does. She pushes him to be better, to think critically about the world around him. Their dynamic feels very much like a partnership, which is refreshing to see.
It is. They're equals.
Yeah,
And I think that makes their relationship much more interesting than the traditional damsel in distress trope.
totally agree. Okay, now let's talk about the action sequences, because let's be honest, those are some of the most breathtaking moments in the trailer.
Oh, yes. Superman soaring through the air.
Hmm.
The clash with Brainiac's force is pure spectacle.
I have to say, while the action is visually stunning,
And it is.
it is. What truly captivated me was the emotional weight behind those scenes.
Yeah.
We see the toll these battles take on Superman.
The sacrifices he makes, the burden of responsibility he carries.
Exactly. It's not just about explosions and special effects. It's about the human cost of being a hero. There's that one shot that really stuck with me. Superman kneeling amidst the wreckage of a battle, his head bowed.
I remember that shot. I interpreted it as exhaustion, defeat, like he's finally reached his breaking point.
I see it differently. I think it's a moment of reflection, of gathering strength before rising to the challenge again. He's not defeated, he's processing the weight of what he's up against.
That's a really interesting interpretation. It adds another layer to that moment. And then there's Lex Luthor. That one shot of him in the trailer, he has this chillingly calm demeanor, like he's always in control.
He's definitely a force to be reckoned with, and his portrayal is what intrigues me most. He's not a stereotypical villain.
Not at all.
He's intelligent, calculated, and you get the sense that he might genuinely believe he's doing what's best for humanity.
You mentioned his fear of unchecked power earlier. Do you think that could be the key to his motivations? Does he see Superman as a threat to the world order?
I think that's a very real possibility. And it sets the stage for a clash of ideologies, a conflict that goes beyond good and evil. It's about two different visions for the future of humanity.
And then, of course, we have the Brainiac threat. Those glimpses of his alien technology, his army of drones. It's clear this is a villain unlike anything Superman has faced before.
Brainiac is a force of nature. He's not just about brute strength. He's an intellectual threat.
He's a strategist.
Exactly. He's playing a long game. And I think that's what makes him so dangerous. He's always thinking several steps ahead.
It's like Superman's ultimate test, pushing him to confront his limits and make choices that could have galactic consequences. And amidst all this action, we see those moments where Superman is standing before the American flag.
The symbolism is potent.
What do you make of it?
Well, on one hand, it represents his iconic status as an American hero. But on the other hand, it also highlights the shifting public perception of him.
Right. At times, it seems like he's celebrated as a symbol of hope. But then we see glimpses of doubt, of fear, as if people are questioning his motives, his power.
It's a reflection of our own anxieties about power and authority. Can we truly trust anyone with that much power? How much pressure can one hero withstand before they break?
So many questions, so much to ponder, and we're only just scratching the surface.
I know, there's still so much we don't know. But that's what makes this trailer so exciting. It leaves you wanting more. It makes you think.
And that's what good storytelling is all about. All right, so we've dissected the visuals, we've delved into the characters, we've explored the conflicts, but where does that leave us? What's the overarching message? What's Gunn trying to say with this Superman?
I think he's crafting a story that's both timeless and timely. You know, he's tapping into those core elements that make Superman so enduring.
Hope, resilience.
Exactly, that struggle to do what's right even when it's hard. But he's setting it against this backdrop that feels very real, very now.
A world that's grappling with its own anxieties.
About power, about trust, about the future. It's like he's saying, look, Superman isn't just some relic from the past. He's a hero for right now.
And by making him human, showing those vulnerabilities, those doubts.
It makes him accessible, relatable, especially for a new generation.
Right. He's not just the symbol of unyielding strength. He's someone who grapples with self-doubt, who feels like an outsider.
And those are struggles that I think resonate with a lot of people, regardless of whether they're into comics or not.
And that message of hope, that unwavering belief in humanity's good nature.
It feels especially potent right now, doesn't it? In a world that often feels kind of hopeless.
It does. It's a reminder that even when things are tough, there's still good worth fighting for.
And the trailer doesn't shy away from the fact that it's a fight, right? It's not going to be easy. There are going to be tough choices, sacrifices.
Moral dilemmas.
Yeah, those too. It comes with the territory, right? Being a hero, this Superman is going to be tested.
Pushed to his limits.
Absolutely. And that's what makes it so compelling. We're not just watching a superhero punch bad guys. We're seeing a man wrestling with extraordinary responsibility.
With the weight of hope on his shoulders.
And the struggle to figure out, what does it even mean to be a symbol for good?
And I think that's the question Gunn wants us to ask ourselves. What does Superman mean to us?
Why do we need these symbols of hope?
Right. And what can we learn from his example, even if we don't have superpowers?
He's holding up this mirror, isn't he? To society, to us.
Making us examine our own values, our beliefs.
Our own willingness to fight for what we think is right, even when it feels like the world's falling apart.
That's the brilliance of this trailer. It's not just about hyping up a movie.
It's about sparking a conversation.
Challenging how we think about heroes, about power, about what it means to be human. And reminding us, even when things are dark, that hope is still a powerful force.
It is. So what about you? What does this all mean to you? If Superman represents hope in a world that often feels hopeless, what does that inspire in you?
Does it make you want to act, to hold on to hope, even when things are tough?
We'd love to hear your thoughts. What resonated with you? What questions did this trailer raise for you?
Because ultimately, this story isn't just about Superman. It's about what he represents, the potential for good, the belief in a brighter future, and that's something that lives in all of us.
So that wraps up our deep dive into the Superman trailer. But the conversation doesn't end here.
Keep exploring, keep questioning, keep believing in that power of hope.
And until next time, stay curious.